Which blood types makes Victoria most happy? Hmm? Be positive. Okay, I'll stop. Welcome to the in-depth analysis of Victoria, the Bloody Bible.
真理の祝福あれ。
Victoria is a fire support that comes from the True Order. In fact, she is pretty much the leader of True Order. Her active skill, Chain of Parting Sea, deal 250% damage to 3 enemies within 3 surrounding cluster. When there is only 1 enemy within the range, she will do 250 damage that ignore defense instead. 25% of the damage dealt will be restored as health. After you reach Ascension 2, she will increase the damage dealt by 10% for every single stack of bleeding they have. So the more bleeding, the more healing. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of bleed support right now, so I feel like the increased final damage for each bleed stacks is not that impactful. Her chain combo, Canticle of Drawing, at 4 chain, she will do 160% damage to 12 tiles in a diamond shape and also inflict 1 stack of bleeding for 2 rounds. And at 9 chain, she will do 175% damage in a 16 tiles in a radial shape and also inflict 1 stack of bleeding for 2 rounds. And at 12 chain, she will do 180% to 2 surrounding cluster and also inflict 1 stack of bleeding for 2 rounds. A really good chain combo. The requirement is not really big and it does a lot of damage. The chain is nice. It's also inflict bleeding. Very good. Her equipment, Word of Ebb and Flow, allow her to regenerate 5% of max HP per stack of bleeding whenever her chain combo hit an enemy that is bleeding. At Ascension 3, this recovery effect is increased by 50% if the enemy has more health than the team. So it's a percentage which, not the total value. So I do have to let you know that the percent of max health is based on Victoria health. So let's say Victoria has 9,000 health and you hit an enemy that is affected by 1 stack of bleeding, you will only recover 450 health, and that is very low. To be honest, this effect, this equipment doesn't really heal that much. You will most likely get most of your healing from your active skill instead. As for the breakthrough, at breakthrough 3, Victoria will get 10% more conversion to health for the active skill. So from 25% of damage dealt convert to health, you get 35% of damage convert to health. It's quite a good breakthrough, but it's not really very impactful. If you have access, go for it, but it's not really that worth. And at breakthrough 6, she basically will do global range active skill instead of 3 cluster. Again, not really something that make or break the characters. It's not really that worth, in my opinion, so you don't really have to go for this. Unless you are Mega Whale, I guess. As for the stat comparison, Victoria is ranked number 5 in terms of attack in fire units. In terms of defense, she is ranked number 7. And as for health, she is ranked number 14. As for the team suggestion, I think a lot of people will recommend using nails with Victoria. And I'm actually going to say no, don't use nails with Victoria because the bleeding is not really the main focus of Victoria. Victoria is more on this side healing and high damage output of her. And when you use nails just to inflict some amount of bleeding and you hurting yourself, it's actually a pretty big detrimental to the team. So you want to put Victoria in a stage that you would need healing, but Alice is not providing enough so that you don't have enough damage to kill the boss, for example. Then Victoria will be a good fit. Usually you want to fight more enemies, like 3 enemies, like 3 bosses types of situation, then Victoria is very strong over there. Or like super high defense unit, I guess, because she can ignore defense. But so far we don't have that kind of enemy yet. If you don't have Victoria, you could consider just slapping an Alice in there and just move on with your day. Or Phyllishy will be a really good healing type of character, but doesn't do any damage. So yeah, here's my recommendation. Let's go to the rating. As for rating, I'm gonna give Victoria current balance 4 star, future balance 3 star, flexibility 3 star, and design 4 star. Victoria is a very solid character. She can do a lot of damage, and he has like a side healing. It's like a good amount of healing, but you can only do that every 3 turns. So you have to make sure it's not like a boss that constantly do damage to you, because Victoria can't hold on that. But Victoria does have really good use on certain boss, because not every boss can hit you every turn. For example, Shelmer, if you're in the higher Spire stage, there's like a Shelmer stage that has like 4 boss, and since Victoria can hit 3 of them and heal a lot, and you can sort of dodge a lot of attack, Victoria is a great fit there. And since Alice don't do damage, sometimes you run out of turns if you don't use Victoria. So Victoria is very useful, but I'm gonna tell you why I give her future balance 3 star, because currently I see Todo, they're releasing a lot of damage over time immune kind of boss, and this is not really a good direction for her, since her mechanic is based on bleeding. Well, it doesn't really make her useless since she still has the healing, but it's definitely weaker. So I feel like her future balance is 3 star, because she still has the healing, so it's not really bad. Can be used on bosses that has like multiple of them, and you don't get hit every turn. Like they say, because the Victoria cooldown is 3 cooldown, if you get hit every 3 turns and you were able to heal it back just by Victoria, I think Victoria is very good on there. But I don't know if they release even more bleed support, she might be able to shine, but I doubt it. I really doubt how much bleed can really help Victoria, since the scaling of the bleed is not that high anyway. You get like 10% per bleed. That's like almost like nothing. Like imagine you have to get 25 stack of bleeding in order to double the original effect. That's not gonna happen, bro. And flexibility 3 star. Again, she excel on bosses mechanic that has like a lot of enemies. You have to make sure of that, and you have to make sure it's a stage that actually need healing. I mean, most of them do, but sometimes you can get away with it. And she can be used in most situations, but she doesn't really excel in most situations. So that's why I gave her flexibility 3 star. As for design, she is really well designed. She looks like someone who would help me when I'm lost in the mall. A very mummy type of character. Not my cup of tea, but I think definitely someone would like her a lot. As for the cost, for Ascension Tree, you will need the Fire Cluster, and I'll just quickly show you how much material you will need to reach Ascension Tree level 1 and also Ascension Tree level 80. As for the equipment, you will need the True Order Ancient Book, and Sublime is 6,500 and with the cost of 580,000 Nitium. As for Affinity, it's 62 gift as usual that she likes. Final verdict, Victoria is an A-tier character. She is definitely very useful, but it's only on the very specific situation where, first of all, you have to make sure the boss is not immune to bleed, and you have to make sure there is more than 3 of them. And yeah, that is like the best scenario. And when the scenario outside of that is like the boss immune to bleed and there's only 1 of them, I would not recommend you use Victoria. But if you want to just use Victoria just for like a little bit of healing and you don't have other choice, it's actually quite a decent character that you can invest in. But yeah, there's definitely a better option, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video again. I'm really grateful for the support I have been receiving, and I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you, Nerfa. Also, I make a new Discord server. Join it. Really, join it. And that's all for me today. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.